Good evening, Hope Dealers, and welcome. Welcome. We're almost to the end of, not to the end of July, just 2/3 into July, because we have some very exciting a tool from Arbonne, gift from Arbonne to work with. And Kate Stone, honestly, I should have you proof every post I make because I didn't have time to put it in there, but it was your question on, did I read the fine print right on this? To where I saw it for the first time and called and confirmed that with VP support. And so, yes, they not only get their fee waived, but a free product at $150. That is crazy town. I've never, ever seen that. And so 11 days, that's a lot of time for us to work with and offer that to others, because it changes everything for me in picking up the phone when I have something of even greater value to offer. And I just want, on this note, for no one to get in their heads that next month when this is gone, that we don't have something of value to offer, because we do. Even when it's not on sale, even when there's not a free sign up, even when there's not a free product, the preferred client program with its free products and free shipping is an amazing program right there. But now it's just, now we can call, I mean, there's no end to who you can call. You can call anyone who has tried the products and say, I remember that, I gave you the sample pack a couple of weeks ago. You hadn't used it last week. Let me tell you what is being offered right now. Or I know you were on Susie's Facebook party last month and just wanted you to know that this month, here is this. Or for that host that says, I'll look at my calendar, the host that you want to have that hasn't committed, that's going to look at their calendar and get back with you on dates. That's when you can call her and say, this is what your guests would get if you were to do it this month. So it gives just such a great reason to call. And, I started playing with the math. I only did 2 of them. If they chose the Genius Pads for their free product, it's over 50% off. If they just chose another box of Fizz for their free product, it's 42% off. And I promise I'll stop with my numbers. But that is a great, great deal. And so, I would say set a new goal tonight for what you will do in July. And again, it's not about how much in sales you will have, how much money you will earn, although this isn't a volunteer business. Everyone is doing this for an additional stream of income or some type of stream of income, but make the focus be on how many people can I help with this, because we can help a lot of people save money and have a really great first introduction to Arbonne and an introduction to healthy products by this. So set a goal and share it with your sponsor and your RVP before tonight is over. But I don't want to do any more talking, because tonight we have the honor of hearing from Kate Stone, Ashley Powell, and Fran Babishak. And I am going to just turn this over to Rachel now, and she's going to bring Kate and Ashley on in whatever order, and then I'm going to chat with Fran for a moment. So go, Rach.
Great. Thank you. Well, you got the order correct. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Those who are watching live with us or the replay. My name is Rachel Camfield. I am right outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm sponsored by the incredible Executive Regional Vice President, Colleen Stewart. I am an Executive Regional Vice President as well and an independent consultant, and I've been with Arbonne for 5.5 years. So I thought I would include a little snippet there. So Kate, we're going to start with you tonight. Kate and I got to meet for the first time in person on Sunday, but we've been working alongside each other for how long has it been, Kate?
It's been, I started actively working the beginning of 2020.
Okay. But I feel like I've seen you around, and we have been connected for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up, I'm going to set a timer just so I can keep track of this. Okay. So Kate, we're going to jump right into a few questions, and I love that I get to ask you some of these things tonight, because these are just things that I've seen and witnessed you really excelling at. So Kate, I'd love to ask you, how do you maintain your consistency, positivity, and never getting or not staying in a negative space for long?
So I think that something that would surprise people about me is that I don't think I'm a naturally positive person at all. I won't get into the long story, but I was raised by caretakers and mentors who are very judgmental, hypercritical. Perfectionism is something that I'm always grappling against. And so the positivity is a lot of work for me. But that comes from like the personal development work. It's been a spiritual journey for me. It's all those things. And recently, so it's like recently I've had like a new level of challenge around this, because some of you know I've had some health challenges recently. This short version of the story is that I have anemia and iron deficiency, which has caused a lot of exhaustion and fatigue, some brain fog, some like cognitive, like I put a metal spoon in the blender the other day and then I paid the wrong credit card. Like, I'm like, my mind is not all there, right? I paid the wrong amount of money to the wrong credit card. Anyway, it got fixed. But so those health challenges have made me realize, like, how do I work smarter, not harder? Like, when I have energy, where do I put my focus and my energy? And honestly, like, for me, Arbonne is a choice. Like, I do this business obviously for the greater potential over longevity, but ultimately at its core, it has to be fun for me. Like, I've been in corporate jobs working for somebody else's goals. That's stressful, right? Like, nobody's telling me I have to do this. So I'm like relearning, how do I approach this without that like stressful attitude that I learned in corporate America, and just make it like fun and for myself. So I think at the core, that's where it is. But the positivity and the consistency is like a daily practice. You know, it's reading the books, it's meditating, it's breathing, it's taking a nap, it's all those things. It's eating good food, you know, it's taking a walk around the block when you're feeling stressed, because I couldn't do that when I worked in an office, you know, like all those little things.
Mm-hmm. I think that definitely is going to speak to many people. And you're clearly an overcomer, and I can tell that you have that grit in the way that you work your business. So we're going to wrap up here, and I'm going to ask you, how do you persevere towards your goals with passion? I know you shared a little bit about that just now, but you are goal oriented. And I don't think I should have said, please, share where you're from and introduce yourself to everybody. I just jumped right in.
Should I do that now?
Just Kate Stone.
Okay.
I'll let you do it.
I'm Kate Stone, and I'm in Carborough, North Carolina, which is outside of Chapel Hill, Raleigh, Durham. I'm a district manager. I enrolled as a consultant in April of 2019, but like New Year's 2020 was kind of like when I started actively working my business, and I'm sponsored by Amber Lillystrom.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So your goals and persevering with passion in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay. So I was thinking about this and like, where does this come from? So some of you know, I had a previous career as a professional actress, and there's a lot of themes that I see for my acting career in Arbonne that are kind of like, I guess, lessons or muscles that I learned from my acting career. Because when you're an actor, like, so much of it is just about like showing up for the audition, like showing up, suiting up, being prepared. And you are literally buying a lottery ticket at every audition, because your life could be changed in one moment. Like, you could be waiting tables, starving actor, hustling all around. You get one audition and you're like, oh, I'm a series regular on this TV show. Oh, I'm in this Broadway show. One time I got paid $15,000 to work in one day and was flown to California and put up in the Ritz-Carlton. You know what I mean? Like, so you never know like what that one thing is going to be, but it's all about like buying the lottery ticket, right? Like, you're not in it unless you're playing. And to me, and by the way, in my acting career, I had examples of success that happened like that. And I had so many friends who had the same thing happen, but you never knew when that moment was. So to me in Arbonne, it's like, we have amazing examples of success on our team. Like, I see that in our VP team. It's like, you guys are all normal people. And I really got that on Sunday meeting you in person. And I mean that in like the most complimentary way, because it's like humility, groundedness, all of those qualities, but yet through like perseverance and longevity, you're examples of success. But the success only happens by showing up, by doing the one next thing. And so I think I learned that from my acting career and just like took it into this. And I see so many of the same themes that I'm like, you never know who you're going to meet. Like, who am I going to give like Age Well skincare to, who all of a sudden is going to be like the next amazing person on my team? Like, you don't know. And then also when you're rejected, to not take it personally. And I've been rejected a million times. Like a million.
Well, we will never reject you, Kate. We love you, and we love
Thanks,
you on the
Rachel.
team. And it definitely felt like someone was missing. And now that you're here, it feels like someone has arrived. So just thank you so much for sharing tonight. I want to keep going with you. And it's just so cool that we can dive into so many different places from what you shared. So we appreciate you, and thank you for being willing to tell us a little bit more about your experience and your success.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right, Ashley. So, hello, everyone. Ashley, you want to introduce yourself, and then I'll jump into the questions.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Powell. I am an executive district manager. I am in Roanoke, Virginia, and I'm sponsored by Ms. Rachel Camfield.
Awesome. For those that don't know, Ashley and I went to Virginia Tech together, which was like the last time we saw each other in person, minus Sunday, was like 2009. So we haven't seen each other in person since we were undergrad together. All right, Ashley, for tonight. So I want to first congratulate you that you started your business February of 2020. Okay, can you imagine that plot twist, everyone? And she's not only still standing, she's an executive district manager. She has gone into qualifications for area a couple times, and she has huge goals and is just such a positive person on the team. And I love working with you, Ashley. And I want to praise you because you did your first in-person ask recently, and the pandemic has a lot to do with that, because there were a lot of in-person things that we were not doing that we normally wouldn't do. And this is how I think, it kind of played out for you in your business. And so how are you using that example? Because I know it really rocked you out of your comfort zone. How are you attaching to the action and not the outcome with that situation?
Right. So with that situation, so it was a very quick no, and it was in person, and I was so nervous to ask this person. She is a gem. I have another business that I have a candle business, and I have been talking to her and developing that relationship in that area. And just hearing her story and hearing how she wants more time freedom and all of these things, and she's an entrepreneur, I was like, you would be so good at this. So I invited her to our Charlottesville thing, and it was like, no, I don't have time to do that. I already have so much on my plate. And I was like, okay, great. And I decided, with help from Rach and Bob Heilig, to not make up a story about that in my head, and just there were a lot of not great emotions that like flashed there, but then I just said, you know what, it's about developing the relationship. And this has been like a theme for me this year. And I've talked about it with other people. Just, this is a long game. It's about developing the relationship, and the relationship comes first. That's the most important thing. And so just developing relationships with people is really the thing that I'm like learning and growing through with this. And it's just one little step at a time. So maybe the next time I see her in person, or the next time I talk to her, if I'm drinking a fizz, I can offer her a fizz if it feels right, so that's what I'm just making sure that I am doing things very intentionally, and not taking it personally when someone says no and someone says that they're busy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I always learn when somebody says they're busy, I think to myself, ding, 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 they need Arvon, because they don't have enough time to even make a decision. I want to keep going here, but we're going to jump to the next question.
Okay.
And this will be our last question, Ash. What are the ways that you are growing your vision? Because if there's one thing I've really noticed about you, Ashley, working together, you're always where you are, but you're always growing forward and choosing that growth and really giving yourself a huge vision for this.
Right. So, first of all, I listen to lots of podcasts. I try to always be filling my mind with things that help me to grow my vision or help me to grow my belief. I am someone who really almost constantly needs help with my belief and my confidence in Arbonne, in myself, in all of that. So I'm definitely always trying. I know that about myself. And so I know if I start to feel a little bit like down or like I start to lose sight of my vision a little bit, it's time to go listen to some Bob Heilig, or it's time to go read Pound the Stone, or whatever that might be, whatever I have that day. And I don't do that perfectly, obviously, because I'm human, but I have really started to recognize that when I start to feel that like low, I know that it's time to go check out some of those resources. Mm-hmm. And I also just choose to share my big vision with everyone. And a lot of times I don't hit those goals. Like I wanted to earn the trip, the last trip, Atlantis, and I did not hit that, but I'm still for Cancun. I'm going to Cancun. And so I just choose to just like very boldly declare those things to my husband, to my family, and that helps just to hold me accountable, but also just to really dream big and then really picture that. Because if I'm keeping it to myself and I'm actually not sharing it with anybody, then I am just like, I don't know. It's all in my brain. You know, I'm not sharing it with everyone. And if I'm sharing it with everyone, it actually starts making me picture this happening. My parents watching our kids when we go to Cancun, you know, like I start to actually envision these things happening. And so that is super helpful for me, just boldly declaring things, even if they don't happen, that's okay. It will happen. It will eventually.
Well, awesome job, Ashley. Thank you for sharing those tips along the way. And I know others are going to be looking forward to connecting with you and cheering you on and watching your journey. Thank you, everyone. I'm passing it back to Dina.
Oh, Ashley and Kate, thank you both so much for that. And now I am going to, well, I would say introduce you, but Fran needs no introduction, although you can say your name and where you're from here in a second. But I did not personally sponsor Fran. I sponsored Anne, who later enrolled Fran, correct words now, right? Enrolled, not sponsored. Anyway, and just brought into my life a very dear, close friend now that I cannot imagine doing life without. And Fran has a heart of gold. When I think of Bob Heilig's love, serve, grow, it's like, well, Fran could have written that right there, because that is how she lives. And there's two things that I wanted Fran to share tonight. And they're not exactly related to each other, but then they are, because one is just a shift, a really powerful shift in mindset. And another is just how she actually works her business, and had mentioned now she was training her team, showing how, you know, here's what I do when I have time to do Arbonne. Here's what I do. I said, you know what? I bet everyone could benefit from that. So Fran, why don't you start with that one and just, you know, say, you know, where you're from and all that for those who are new and don't know you as well.
Thank you so much, Dina. I'm so grateful to be on this Hope Dealers team. It just makes me smile every day when I get up, especially coming to these meetings and hearing, you know, just everybody, we're going the same place and we're all bringing each other with us together. So it's great to see your beautiful faces. So I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Well, I live outside of Richmond, Virginia. I grew up in the military brat, so I lived in California, Connecticut, Rhode Island, all over the place. But lived in Virginia the longest, and I've been in Arbonne coming up on 6 years, and I'm an area manager. And recently, my awesome, amazing team, Beth and Thomas, asked me to show them what I do every day. So I had them over, and I was telling that to Dina, and so she asked if I would share that as well. Basically, I run two businesses here, caring for my dad. It's a full-time job almost, and it's all on the same desk. So I had to get some control over it, and I just got a clipboard and kept all the Arbonne stuff that I need to grab because of the way we work Arbonne and in the bits and nooks and crannies of our life. Grab the clipboard, that's all I need to go. So I'm going to wait for someone, you know, pick a kid up or something, grab the clipboard, I have it with me, I have all the names, And what's on the clipboard, so I'm going to take it off, these master candidate sheets that you can print off at dinakretzer.com that Eric Worre put together. You know, they look like that. And it's a way for me to keep track of all my asks. And the ones that are highlighted, I know it's hard to see with the lighting, but are the ones, these are the people I ask, but only the highlights are the ones who sound like they have any inkling of interest. So I keep those like highlighted to remind me to go back and say what's happening there. And in the beginning of my business, I had this, you know, bad habit of just waiting for a yes before I could go to the next person, which is ridiculous. It was referred to earlier as you have to keep that pipeline full, and everybody is at different places and different decision making. You got to keep, just because what you're doing now is going to come to fruition in a month or two, or, you know, or next week. So you got to keep that pipeline full. And you'll laugh at a great example this morning. So this guy, John Ashton, I met on networking. He is a producer of golf shows across the country for your everyday golfer. And he and I met Zoom, and he was telling me how he couldn't fit into his Kentucky Derby clothes and he has got to lose weight. So he wanted to keep learning more about the 30 days. So this started on April 20th, and I have texted him, called him, emailed him every week, but he hasn't said no. He just hasn't said yes. And it is July 20th now. And I texted him, I said, John, I am here to help you. This is such an easy thing that, you know, if you say yes to, I will completely be there for you. If I am bugging you, please tell me so. I just haven't heard no. So let me know. And he goes, LOL. No, what did he say? He said, LOL, no is always good. And he said, there's a sponsor of his golf show that wants him to do his weight loss so that he can do that, because if they don't do it, I am definitely calling you but on September 1st, because I like you much better. So I haven't bugged him to death. I've really truly thought I had just driven him crazy. So when I get to saying that is, I used to think by now I surely have bugged them to death. That's why they're not answering me. I'm going to give up. But I, you know, in all these great trainings have learned that you haven't heard no, so you just keep going. And I'm cracking up at that one. And there's another lady too. She lives in Wales, and she's like, don't give up on me. I got to convince my husband. I'm still working on it. We got to do it together. So every Monday morning, I text her, and she's like, I'm working on it. Anyway, so that's very helpful. And then this was an April one. So when I get this too full, I start a new one, and I take all the colored names and move them to the new one and start adding new names. So I get rid of all the people who were going nowhere. That's just one thing. Then I use this level up sheet weekly. This slide reminds me to make the social media posts, do my personal development, connect with my team, make sure I know my goals and what I'm doing the next day. It's just a visual. And then on the other side, of course, are the asks. And that just, I think, is a visual. It's like, oh my gosh, look at all the gaps here. I'm not asking anybody to watch a video, you know, so I need to, you know, shift and do some more sending out of surveys or something. Then I have my Facebook party tracker. I had one last night. So on this sheet is all the people I'm following up with and keeping track of that. Then I have my, the people I do the last 3 months, I've asked people to do surveys. And if they do a survey, they're in my drawing for the month. So this is a list of people in my drawing for the month because I got their surveys. Then like on the second or third day of the month, when our website's reset, I always print out the list of people who have free gifts. And that also includes people on my team. So I'll write down, like, that person is Beth's, that one is Thomas's, that one is Sarah's. So if at the end of the month comes and they haven't, I just double check in with them, like, have you had any luck, you know, talking to them? And then when my client uses, I write the date, I email them, and then when I see they ordered, I write used because they got their free gift. Same with birthdays, I do a birthday sheet, and then renewals. And now with that free gift, I'm going to go out to the next month of renewals. That's really cool. So you can print these off on your sheet. Then this is kind of a Bob Heilig thing, but just it's more of a visual, but I just printed off a list of positive emotions, positive words, interest, inspiration, enthusiasm, laughter, amusement, empathy, curiosity, cheer. So when I'm getting into a funk, I just look at these words and like, yeah, these are all the things that I associate with Arbonne. And so I need to just remind myself, you know, don't get distracted, keep plugging. My 6 years, I've been on that roller coaster, and I keep telling Dina, I'm off. I am tired of riding that, like, oh, I got a Facebook party. Oh my God, I got 5. Oh, I earned my DM Achiever Award. Oh my God, nobody will call me back. Oh my God, so great. You can't do it. It's exhausting. And I want to get off that roller coaster. I am off. So it's like, I got 10 no's. That's okay. I got a Facebook party. That's okay. It's all good. It's all getting me there. So kind of learn to stay level. And then I have the trip tracker on here. And then once in a while, I print out a list of PCs, and I'm slowly going through and texting them the survey, especially ones who haven't ordered in a long time. Just, it's been a couple of years, so let's see where you are with Arbonne, and maybe you do need the business now. So, and then I have the sheet with host perks to remind me all the things you can do with that. And I also printed out a list of people who have opted out of out of Arbonne emails. So I separately, individually email them, not through the CRM. So, you know, if I send out a big batch of CRM emails, I separately send these people through my regular email, so they know about the specials and they don't miss the specials. And then lastly, I have, you know, getting started checklists for new consultants, so that I can quick reference it, like, okay, what's the first thing I do, you know, when somebody new starts on the team. I have that all super handy, and it's just a big, you know, smash of papers, but it's in one place and I know where to grab it, and it works for me. So
I love that. So organized. And I have to say that even though I always printed out those papers that you use, you could walk into my office and see that one is under this pile and one is under that pile and one is here just confessing. And after you shared that with me, they're all on one clipboard. And it's just like, why could I not do something that simple? It just makes it where, you know, anyone can do this. And so I really wanted you to share that with the team. And I love that you are off of that roller coaster. And one, you know, huge piece of that, or related to it, is the other thing I wanted you to share tonight. And that was that shift, that listening. Fran and Beth and Connolly and Rihanna are all doing a different program in Bob Heilig, one that they're paying for, Legacy, and I'm doing a different one that I'm paying for, lest you think I'm just not doing that. I'm doing a different one. But there's one that Fran was on a live question answer with Bob Heilig's partner, Megan. And just, I loved what you shared from that and wanted you to share and encourage the whole team with that.
Sure. So in this course, they allow for live coaching throughout the week on Facebook. That you can just jump in a Zoom and ask questions and learn from other people doing the course as well. And these are, you know, people doing network marketing. And part of the whole course, well, the main focus of the course is figuring out your red light stories and rewriting them as green light stories. And the trip to Cancun was announced, and so the very next week I jumped on this call with Megan, and I said, all right, I got another red light story I need your help with. I said, I have signed up for this trip each year with our company, and one year I had the volume, but I didn't promote anybody, and that, you know, this trip came around again, and it's really hard to get it out of my head. You know, you've signed up 5 times. How are you gonna earn it this time? And so I wrote it on as a red light story. I rewrote it as a green light story. The green light is why can't I earn it? There's no reason. Just because I didn't earn it before doesn't mean I can't earn it now. And it's all about, well, shoot, I should have the red light story out right now. But I was sharing with her, how do I get past that? Because it all comes down to, when I get to the bottom line, I have to ask more people. And I said, when I rewrite any of my red light stories, it comes down to this bottom line. I have to ask more people. She goes, stop right there. Do you hear yourself? I have to ask more people. You've got this connotation. No, who wants to have to ask anybody anything? And it's all salesy talk. Like, I have to. And she said, you love what you do, right? You love your products. Do you love your business? I said, yes, absolutely. She's like, so do you get to share with them? Do you get to share with more people? And I said, oh my gosh, I hear myself now. I realized how I am thinking about this way differently than I should be. And right after that, I wrote this little reminder I stuck on my lamp. And it says, share your gifts, love, serve, grow, marry the process, and divorce the outcome. So stop thinking about how many people, didn't say yes or haven't, joined my team or promoted or whatever, and just start sharing. So last night I had a Facebook party. 3 people were on live out of about 12 in the group. And she was, poor hostess was apologizing. I said, I don't care if, one person came. I got to share it with one new person. And that's all I was going for. That was my goal. I get to share this with someone new, because like Kate was saying, you never, ever know. Is this the person? Is this the person who needed this desperately and soars to the top? So even just one is amazing. And you can't let that get to you. So hope that you all find that helpful.
Fran, thank you so much. I really, and all 3 of you who shared tonight, so appreciative. And I will just wrap up I'm going to read a quote to you that I came across today. I wasn't even looking for a quote to close with, and don't have time to tell you how I even found it, but I realized I did close the DM retreat in 2020 with this, because I saw a reference to that when I found this quote. But even if you're on it, I bet you didn't memorize it. And if you weren't on it, you may not have ever heard it, but it came from a friend's Arbonne success story. And it was a quote from somebody whose name I don't recognize. It's a professor named John Schar, S-C-H-A-A-R, but I always want to give credit. And if anyone knows who that is, that's who said this quote. So it really goes along with what you were sharing right there at the end, Fran. The future is not a result of choices among alternate paths offered by the present, but a place that is created first in mind and will, created next in activity. The future is not some place we are going to, but one we are creating. The paths are not to be found, but made, and the activity of making them changes both the maker and the destination. There's a lot in that. I'm going to put that on the Facebook group tomorrow, because it's kind of a one that you have to go back and keep reading in that. But the paths are not to be found out there, but made, and the activity of making them will change us and change the destination. And what a gift it is that's the life that we get to live, is creating that future first in our mind, in our will, and then just using our gifts to go and take that inspired action on that. And it's an amazing, fulfilling way to live, by loving and serving and continuing to grow ourselves. And I love each one of you. Thank you so much for those of you who are on live and those who will listen to the replay, and have a great rest of the month. I love you.